I walked back into the house I once called home after 12 long years. Faces turned, eyes stared, but no one knew who I really was. Until the truth I carried shattered everything they believed. I stood outside the big white house, my chest tight, my palms sweating. 12 years. That's how long it had been since I left this place. Or rather, since I was forced to leave. The paint on the walls looked fresher now, the garden more polished, the family richer than I remembered. They had built a perfect life without me. I adjusted my jacket, pulled the cap a little lower over my face, and took a deep breath. Inside, laughter echoed, music played. It was my sister's engagement party. At least that's what the invitation had said when it mysteriously arrived in my inbox. They hadn't sent it to me directly, of course. They didn't even know if I was alive. But I had been watching them from afar, keeping track, waiting for the right moment. And tonight, the right moment had finally come. As I pushed the door open, the warmth of the lights hit me. People in fine clothes stood around, glasses in hand, gossiping, laughing, showing off jewelry and expensive watches. No one noticed me at first. I slipped in quietly, my eyes scanning the crowd, my heart pounding. Then I saw her. My sister, Alina. She looked different, older, but still carried that same air of arrogance she had as a teenager. The favorite child, the princess, the one who could never do wrong in my parents' eyes. She was glowing in her silk dress, surrounded by admirers. And standing next to her was her fiancé, tall, well-dressed, with a fake smile plastered across his face. For a moment, I froze. Memories came flooding back. The nights I cried myself to sleep, the cruel words, the lies that drove me away, the betrayal that cut so deep I swore I'd never forgive. "Excuse me, who are you?" A woman's voice interrupted my thoughts. I turned to see one of the guests staring at me. Her eyes narrowed. I smiled faintly. "Just a friend of the family," I said, keeping my voice calm. She nodded slowly but didn't look convinced. I moved further into the hall, blending with crowd. Still, no one recognized me. Not my cousins, not my uncles, not even my parents when I finally spotted them near the dining table, laughing with pride at their daughter's big night. It was strange, really. Blood ties should mean something, shouldn't they? But I had been gone so long, erased so completely from their lives, that I was now a stranger among my own flesh and blood. And that was exactly how I wanted it. For now, I picked up a glass of water, pretending to sip while my mind worked. This wasn't just about showing up. No, tonight was about truth. The truth they had buried. The truth that had destroyed me. The truth I was going to bring back into the light. But how? I couldn't just walk in and announce it. They would deny it, laugh it off, maybe even kick me out before I got the chance. No, I needed the perfect moment, the perfect strike. And then, as if fate had been waiting, the music stopped. The lights dimmed slightly. Someone tapped the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen," the announcer said, "please welcome the bride-to-be and her fiancé for their engagement toast." Everyone clapped as Alina and her fiancé stepped forward. I felt the air thicken inside my lungs. My time was coming. Alina lifted her glass, smiling sweetly. "I just want to say," she began, "how grateful I am for my wonderful family, who has always been there for me, supported me, and made me who I am today. I couldn't have asked for more love." I almost choked on my drink. More love? Always been there for her? Supported her? My fists tightened at my sides. The hypocrisy was suffocating. Her fiancé leaned in, wrapping an arm around her waist. "And I'm honored to join this amazing family," he added. "It's clear how much love surrounds them." The crowd cheered. Glasses clinked. The moment was picture perfect. But I wasn't clapping. Instead, I stepped forward. My shoes tapped against the floor, drawing a few curious glances. I moved closer to the front, where the light was brighter, where everyone could see me. Not everyone in this family was loved. I said, my voice steady but loud enough to cut through the noise. The room fell silent. All eyes turned to me. Confusion spread across faces. My sister blinked, her smile faltering. My parents exchanged nervous looks. "Who are you?" my father demanded, his voice sharp. I removed my cap slowly, letting the shadows fall away. My hair was different, my face older, but the features were still there, the same eyes, the same jawline. "It's me," I said quietly. "Your son, the one you all forgot." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Someone dropped a glass. Alina's face turned pale. For a moment, no one moved, no one breathed. And then my mother whispered, her hand trembling against her chest. It can't be." But it was. And I wasn't leaving until they knew exactly what they had done to me. The silence stretched. Faces in the room shifted between shock and disbelief. Some of the guests whispered to each other, trying to piece together what had just happened. My father's eyes burned into mine, searching, as if he could erase me by refusing to recognize me. "You're lying," he said coldly. "Our son is gone. He left us years ago." I felt my lips curl into a bitter smile. "You're right. I did leave, but not by choice. You made sure of that, remember?" The air grew heavy. My mother shook her head violently. No, this is a mistake. You can't be him. You! Look at me." I snapped, my voice sharper than I intended. "Look into my eyes and tell me you don't see the boy you abandoned." Gasps echoed around us. The crowd was frozen, waiting like spectators at a play. My sister Alina's mouth opened, but no sound came out. Her fiancé looked between us, clearly confused but curious. I took a step forward, my chest rising and falling with every breath. "You all wanted to forget me, didn't you? Pretend I never existed. Pretend I was just a mistake, a stain on your perfect little family picture." "Stop this nonsense." My father barked, his face red. "Leave now before I call security." But his voice shook. He wasn't as confident as he pretended to be. Deep down, he knew. They all knew. Security? I laughed, a hollow, bitter sound. "You can throw me out again, but the truth won't stay hidden forever. Do you really want to tell them all? Right here? Right now?" The guests shifted uneasily. Some looked guilty, as if they already sensed the ugliness beneath the polished surface. Others leaned in, hungry for drama. My sister finally found her voice. "What do you want?" she asked, her tone trembling. I turned my gaze on her. "What I want the truth, Alina. I want them to remember what they did. And I want you to face the part you played." Her eyes widened, fear flickering across her face. She tried to speak, but my father cut in again, desperate to maintain control. "This man is disturbed. He is not part of this family." The words hit me like a slap. For a second, I felt the old pain rise, the pain of being unwanted, unloved, erased. But then I steadied myself. This time, I wouldn't crumble. This time, I held the power. I turned to the guests, raising my voice so all could hear. 12 years ago, I was driven out of this house. Not because I did something wrong, but because of lies. Lies told by the golden child you're all here to celebrate. Gasps rippled again. Alina froze, her face drained of color. She told everyone I stole money. She planted the blame on me. And my parents believed her. They didn't ask questions. They didn't listen to me. They just threw me out like garbage. A 17-year-old boy with nowhere to go. Murmurs spread through the hall. People looked at Alina, then back at me. Her fiancé slowly removed his arm from around her waist. "That's not true," Alina whispered, her voice breaking. "He's making it up." "Am I?" I snapped. "Tell them where the money really went. Alina, or should I?" She shook her head, tears brimming in her eyes. My parents stood rigid, caught between fury and fear. I clenched my fists, forcing myself to stay calm. I spent years living on the streets, nights in shelters, days hungry, angry, broken. Do you know what it feels like to be betrayed by the people who are supposed to protect you? To have your sister's lies destroy your life, while she stayed home, loved and pampered. The room was so quiet I could hear my own heartbeat. I looked at my mother. "Do you remember the night you locked the door on me? Do you remember how I begged you to listen, but you turned away?" Tears slipped down her cheeks, but she said nothing. My father's jaw tightened, his pride refusing to bend. "You all forgot me, I said, my voice low, trembling with emotion. But I never forgot you. I carried this pain every single day. And tonight, I came back, not just for revenge, but for truth. Alina suddenly cried out, her voice high and desperate. It wasn't me. I didn't steal it. I just borrowed it. I was scared. I thought he'd tell, so I blamed him. I didn't think it would go that far. The confession hung in the air like poison. Her fiancé stepped back, disgust flashing across his face. Guests whispered louder now, their eyes sharp, judgmental. The golden child's perfect image was cracking before their very eyes. I took a deep breath, my chest heavy but steady. There it is. The truth. The thing you all refused to hear 12 years ago. Alina sobbed, covering her face. My mother clutched her arm, trembling. My father looked at me, and for the first time, I saw something other than anger in his eyes. Guilt. But it wasn't enough. This was just the beginning, because while their lies had broken me, I hadn't just survived. I had rebuilt. I had found power they couldn't imagine. And tonight, they were about to learn that I wasn't just a forgotten son. I was their reckoning. The room had turned into a storm. Guests whispered furiously, some glaring at my parents, others sneaking glances at me, hungry for more. Alina's fiancé stepped away from her completely now, his face pale as though he had just discovered he was marrying a stranger. I could feel the shift. For the first time in 12 years, the power was mine. You all called me a thief, I said slowly, my voice echoing in the heavy silence. You spat on my name. You threw me into the streets with nothing but the clothes I was wearing. And now, your perfect daughter admits she lied. My father clenched his jaw so tightly his face shook. Enough, he barked, his voice cracking. You've said what you came to say. Leave now, before you destroy this family's reputation any further. I laughed, sharp and bitter. Destroy your reputation? You did that yourselves the night you chose lies over blood. I turned my eyes to the crowd. Do you all want to know what happened to me after that night? Do you want to know how I survived? People nodded, eyes wide, leaning closer. My father's hand twitched, as if he wanted to silence me, but he couldn't, not in front of all these witnesses. I slept on cold floors in shelters. I begged for scraps. I worked jobs no one else wanted just to stay alive. Every day I thought about coming back here, proving you wrong. But then I paused, my voice hardening. Then I realized something. Coming back wasn't enough. I had to make sure you felt what I felt, that you lost what I lost. A chill spread through the room. Alina sobbed louder, clutching her face, but I ignored her. My eyes locked on her fiancé. He looked at me, then at her, his hands shaking. You lied, he asked her, his voice low but cutting. You let your own brother be destroyed so you could save yourself? She tried to grab his hand. Please, I was young. I didn't know what I was doing. He ripped his hand away. And you never confessed? Not once in 12 years. Her silence was answer enough. Gasps broke out among the guests. Some shook their heads in disgust, whispering about the family's hidden shame. The perfect image was falling apart. But I wasn't finished. I reached into my pocket and pulled out a small folder. My father's eyes narrowed instantly. He knew. He could feel the danger. What is that? He demanded. Proof. I said calmly, my voice steady. Proof of what this family really is. Proof of the secrets you thought would never come out. I opened the folder and pulled out a set of papers. Bank records. Transactions. Dozens of them. Money funneled into hidden accounts. My father's accounts. While the world believed he was a respectable businessman, he was moving money offshore, hiding it, cheating his partners, even cheating the government. The crowd gasped again, louder this time. My father's face drained of color. He stepped forward, his hand outstretched. You don't know what you're talking about. Those aren't real. Oh, they're real, I said, holding the papers high. I spent years tracking you down, finding what you buried. You thought no one would notice. But I noticed. And tonight, so will everyone else. Gasps turned into murmurs of outrage. A few guests pulled out their phones, snapping photos, recording. My father lunged toward me, but his own business partner, standing in the crowd, grabbed his arm. "Is this true?" the man demanded, his face dark with fury. My father stuttered, his words stumbling out, but the truth was already out there. I turned my gaze to my mother. "And you?" The silent accomplice. "You knew about his dealings. You looked the other way. Just like you looked the other way when your daughter framed me. You never protected me. You protected them. Always them." She burst into tears, her voice breaking. I was scared. I didn't want to lose everything. "You lost me." I cut her off coldly. That was everything. The room was chaos now. Some guests stormed out. Others shouted. A few stared at me with awe, as if I were a ghost risen to deliver judgment. But I wasn't done yet. I turned back to Alina, who was now on her knees, her makeup ruined by tears. Her fiancé stood frozen, disgust in his eyes. "You thought lies would keep you safe," I said, my voice low but sharp. "But lies always come back. And tonight, so do I?" Her fiancé looked at her one last time, then shook his head. "We're done," he said flatly. He threw the ring on the floor and walked away, leaving her trembling and broken. A hush fell again, the weight of what had just happened pressing down on everyone. For 12 years, I had lived as a forgotten one, the castaway, the disgrace. But tonight, in this room full of witnesses, I wasn't a disgrace anymore. They were, and this was only the beginning of their fall. Because I hadn't just come back with anger. I had come back with a plan. And my revenge had only just started. The silence after her fiancé stormed out was like a knife. Guests shifted, some disgusted, some intrigued, but all of them knew one thing. This family was not what it pretended to be. My father's face had turned to stone. His pride wouldn't let him break, but his eyes betrayed the fear he was trying to hide. My mother stood frozen, tears streaming down her face, her hands shaking. Alina knelt on the floor, sobbing, humiliated. I took a slow breath, my voice calm but cutting. "Do you know what's worse than betrayal? Watching the betrayers live happy lives while you carry the scars. But I'm done carrying them. Now it's your turn." I lifted my phone. "Everything I showed you tonight, every record, every hidden transaction, it's already backed up, sent to lawyers, sent to the authorities. By tomorrow morning, investigators will be knocking at your doors." The crowd erupted. Some cheered, others gasped, a few even clapped. My father lunged toward me again, fury blazing in his eyes, but strong hands pulled him back, his own business partner, face red with rage. "You ruined us." The man spat at him. "You lied to us all." "No, he's lying," my father shouted desperately, pointing at me. "He forged those papers. He's just bitter. He wants revenge." But it was too late. The whispers in the crowd had turned into certainty. Doubt was spreading like fire, and my father couldn't put it out. I stepped closer to him, lowering my voice so only he could hear. "This is what you taught me, Father. You taught me that family means nothing if power is at stake. Tonight, I'm only giving you back the lesson you drilled into me." His jaw clenched, his chest heaving. For the first time, I saw him not as the untouchable figure who cast me out, but as a cornered man stripped of his power. I turned to my mother. "You could have stopped it. You could have spoken up 12 years ago. But you stayed silent. And silence is betrayal too." Her knees buckled. Someone rushed to catch her as she sobbed uncontrollably. And then I looked at Alina. She was still on the floor, mascara streaking down her cheeks, her body shaking with sobs. The golden child, the face of the family, reduced to nothing. "You once told me," I said slowly, "that I would never matter, that no one would remember me. But look around. Alina, everyone remembers now." Her eyes met mine, wide with fear, guilt, and something else, admiration, maybe, for the strength I had found in the ashes she left me in. But it didn't matter. Whatever bond we had as children had been severed years ago. Tonight wasn't about forgiveness. It was about justice. Suddenly, the sound of sirens pierced the air outside. Red and blue lights flashed through the windows. Gasps rippled through the room as uniformed officers entered, their eyes scanning the chaos. Mr. Rahman, one officer called, stepping toward my father. We need to speak with you regarding financial irregularities and fraud investigations. The crowd erupted again, some covering their mouths, others muttering, "I knew it," under their breath. My father stiffened, his face pale. "This is a mistake," he stammered. "We can sort this out privately." But the officers weren't listening. They stepped forward, firm, unshaken, ready to escort him out. I watched, my chest heavy but steady. 12 years of pain condensed into this moment. The man who threw me away, now being dragged away himself. My father's eyes locked on mine as the officers gripped his arms. His fury was still there, but beneath it was something new. Defeat. "You'll regret this," he hissed, his voice trembling with rage. I leaned closer, whispering so only he could hear. "I already regretted trusting you. Now it's your turn to regret underestimating me." They pulled him away, out the door, into the flashing lights of the police cars. My mother followed, screaming his name, but no one comforted her. No one cared anymore. The guests had turned their backs. The empire they had built on lies was crumbling right in front of them. Alina tried to crawl toward me, her voice broken. "Please, brother. I never meant for it to go that far. I was scared. I didn't think they'd throw you out." I stared at her for a long moment. Once, I might have believed her. Once, I might have forgiven. But not now. "You stole my life," I said softly, my voice like steel. "And you didn't just watch me suffer. You let them erase me. You let them kill me without burying my body. That isn't fear, Alina. That's cruelty." She broke down completely, her cries echoing in the silent hall. I turned and walked toward the door. People stepped aside, parting like a tide, their eyes wide with shock and awe. Some even nodded at me, a silent acknowledgement that justice had been served. Outside, the night air hit my face, cool and sharp. The flashing lights of the police cars lit up the driveway. For the first time in 12 years, I felt free. But freedom wasn't enough. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. This was about rebuilding, about showing the world that the boy they cast aside had risen, stronger, sharper, unstoppable. And as I walked away from the ruins of the family that destroyed me, I knew one thing. This story wasn't ending here. It was only building to the final reckoning. The night was cool, but my blood burned with fire. As I stood by the gate, watching the police cars disappear with my father inside, I thought it was over, that the revenge I had carried for 12 long years was complete. But life rarely ends neatly. And as much as I wanted to walk away, there was still one ghost clinging to me. "Wait!" a voice cried behind me. I turned to see Alina stumbling down the steps, her dress torn, her face streaked with makeup and tears. She looked nothing like the princess everyone once admired. She looked small, broken. "Please," she begged, her voice cracking. "Don't leave me like this. Don't destroy me completely. I know I hurt you, but you're still my brother." The word hit me like a stone. Brother. A word that once meant safety, laughter, love. A word she had buried under lies. I clenched my fists, my jaw tight. A brother protects. A brother stands beside you. You didn't treat me like a brother. You treated me like dirt you could throw away. Tears streamed down her face. I was jealous. Do you understand? You were smarter, kinder. They loved you more. I thought if I didn't stop you, I'd always live in your shadow. So I lied. I was a stupid child, and I ruined everything. Her confession cut deeper than I expected. Not because I didn't know, but because part of me had waited 12 years to hear her admit it. I stepped closer, my eyes burning into hers. "Do you know what jealousy cost me? I slept under bridges. Alina, I starved. I begged strangers for coins while you sat at this table, eating feasts. You had their love, their protection, and I had nothing." She sobbed harder, clutching at my arm. "Then take everything. Take the money, the house. Just don't leave me alone. You got your revenge. Please, don't take away the only family I have left." For a long moment, I stood frozen. The boy I once was, the boy who still longed for family, stirred inside me. But then I remembered the nights I cried in silence, the days I walked barefoot with no one to call my own. I pulled my arm away. Family? You killed that word 12 years ago. Tonight, I buried it. Her knees buckled, and she collapsed on the driveway, her wails carrying into the night. I walked on, but just as I reached the road, another voice called out, weak, trembling, my mother's. Son. I turned to see her standing under the porch light, her figure shaking. She looked older, smaller than I remembered. Her eyes were swollen, her face pale. I should have protected you, she whispered, her voice breaking. I should have believed you. I was a coward. I thought silence would keep this family safe, but it destroyed it instead. I destroyed you. Her tears glistened under the light. I can't undo what I did, but please don't leave hating me. Don't let me lose you forever. For the first time that night, my chest tightened, not with anger, but with something heavier, grief. I wanted to scream at her, to tell her she didn't deserve forgiveness. But I also saw the truth in her eyes, truth she had denied for too long. She wasn't asking for redemption. She was asking for punishment to end. I stepped closer, my voice low. I lost 12 years of my life. I lost my childhood, my trust, my family. I can't give you forgiveness, Mother, but I can give you the truth. I survived, and you'll live knowing you chose wrong. Every single day, you'll carry that weight. She broke down completely, her sobs echoing in the night. I turned away, each step pulling me further from the wreckage. At the corner of the street, I stopped. The house behind me glowed brightly, but inside it was hollow now. Its foundation of lies had cracked, and nothing could rebuild it. For 12 years, I was a forgotten one, the castaway, the erased. Tonight, I wasn't forgotten anymore. Tonight, I had carved my name into their memories with fire. But here was a twist even I hadn't expected. As I walked away, I realized revenge hadn't freed me completely. Yes, I had broken them. Yes, I had exposed them. But the scars they gave me would never vanish. Revenge doesn't heal. It only shifts the pain. And maybe that was the real punishment for them and for me, because in destroying them, I had destroyed the last piece of family I could have ever had. I disappeared into the night, not as the boy they once abandoned, but as something new, their ghost, their reckoning, and the son they would remember forever. And that was the day they finally remembered me, not with love, but with fear. If you felt my story, don't forget to like and share it.